There's a version of me from years ago who was doing all the things right. Working hard, chasing goals, checking the boxes, and still feeling like something was missing. And if you're an ambitious woman building a business, I know there's a good chance you've felt that way too. Because when you're driven, it's easy to believe that success comes from doing more, pushing harder, and getting to that next milestone as fast as possible. But over time, through building my business, becoming a coach, and doing deep personal development work, I realized something that completely changed how I live and lead. There are a handful of life lessons I wish I'd learned much earlier. Lessons that would have saved me years of stress, self-doubt, and chasing things that didn't actually matter. So in this video, I want to share what really matters. The mindset shifts, values, and perspectives that made everything feel more aligned, more peaceful, and honestly, more successful. If you're a woman who wants to build a life and a business that feels expansive, not just impressive, hit that like button. Now, let's talk about the life lessons I wish I knew earlier and what actually matters. But first, if we haven't met, I'm Mariah. I'm an award-winning luxury brand designer and business coach, and I work with high-achieving women who have done everything right, but are desperately craving something more. On this channel, we talk about marketing, mindset, and manifestation, and how to use those three pillars to build a business and a life that actually feel aligned, not just impressive on paper. So if you're questioning the path you were handed and ready to redefine what success looks like for you, hit subscribe. You're in the right place. The manual you followed wasn't built for you. I want to start here because this realization changes everything. Most women I work with didn't fail at life. They followed the manual. Go to school, get the degree, build the career, get married, be responsible, do the right thing. And when you follow that path, you expect it to feel a certain way. Secure, fulfilling, like you finally made it, whatever that means. But for so many high-achieving women, making it comes with a lot of unexpected disappointment. Instead of feeling fulfilled, there's this quiet, confusing feeling of, why do I still feel off? That was me. I remember looking at my life years ago, divorced, not having finished school, feeling so far behind everyone else, and genuinely believing I had messed it all up. Because when you're measuring yourself against someone else's timeline, any deviation feels like failure. But looking back now, I can see something I couldn't see then. That perfect path I tried to follow wasn't wrong. It just wasn't mine. And that's the part no one really talks about. The right path is designed for averages, for predictability, for people who feel safe staying inside the lines. But if you're ambitious, intuitive, creative, or wired to build something of your own, that manual will eventually start to feel suffocating. Not because you're ungrateful, not because you're broken, but because you've outgrown a definition of success that was never written with you in mind. And until you question that manual, you keep trying to optimize a life that doesn't actually fit. Being successful isn't the same as feeling fulfilled. This is the part that really messes with your head, because on paper, everything can look right. You did the things, you hit the milestones, you became the version of yourself you thought you were supposed to become. And yet, something still feels off. This is why so many women start questioning themselves instead of the definition of success that they're living by. They think, what's wrong with me? Why am I not happier? Why does this feel so empty? But that feeling isn't a flaw. It's information. Fulfillment isn't about how impressive your life looks. It's about how aligned it feels. And alignment isn't loud. It doesn't show up as a trophy. It shows up as an internal sense of yes. The problem is, most of us were taught to override that yes. We were taught to value stability over truth, approval over intuition, achievement over satisfaction. So when fulfillment doesn't arrive after the achievement, we assume the answer is to push harder, another goal, another milestone, another version of once I get there. But success without alignment will always, always feel empty because you're building something that looks good from the outside while quietly abandoning yourself on the inside. And that emptiness doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're ready to stop measuring your life by someone else's definition of success. It means you're ready to ask a better question than, how do I get further? The real question becomes, what do I really want? Self-reliance is not the same as self-trust. This is a big one, especially for high-achieving women, because a lot of us were taught that being strong means doing everything ourselves, figuring it out, handling it, not needing help. And for a long time, that looks like self-trust. But here's what I've learned the hard way. Self-reliance and self-trust are not the same thing. Self-reliance says, I'll carry this alone. Self-trust says, I've got my own back and I know when to get support. When I look back, so much of my delay, personally and professionally, came from believing I needed to prove I could do it all on my own. That if I was really capable, I wouldn't need help. That asking for guidance somehow meant I wasn't smart enough. But that belief didn't make me stronger. It just made things heavier. What I see now is that doing everything alone wasn't confidence. It was fear, dressed up as independence. Fear of choosing wrong, fear of being judged, fear of admitting I didn't have all the answers. And that mindset quietly costs women years. Years of overthinking, years of circling the same decisions, years of staying in limbo instead of moving forward. Self-trust doesn't mean you magically know the right answer. It means you trust yourself enough to say, I don't want to do this part alone. And that shift, letting yourself be supported, is often the moment everything starts to move again. Trying to prove yourself will cost you years. This is where everything we've talked about so far tends to collide. Because when you've followed the rules, stayed responsible, and done the things the right way for a long time, it's easy to start living from a place of proving you didn't mess it up, proving you're not behind, proving you made the right choices, even when something inside of you knows you didn't. That pressure doesn't always show up loudly. Sometimes it shows up as comparison. Watching what everyone else is doing, wondering if you're too old or too late, second guessing your instincts because someone else seems more confident, more certain, more ahead. And underneath all of that is something women rarely talk about honestly. We're not great at receiving support, receiving guidance, receiving help without feeling like it says something negative about us. So instead, we overfunction. We do more, we carry more, we tell ourselves we'll rest later after we've earned it. But here's the truth I wish I understood sooner. Trying to prove yourself keeps you stuck in effort, and effort is not the same thing as alignment. When you're always proving, it's hard to receive. And when you can't receive, growth stops. Because receiving requires trust. Trust that you don't have to struggle your way into the next chapter. Trust that support doesn't make you weaker, it makes you clearer. So many women delay the life and business they actually want, not because they're incapable, but because they're still trying to earn permission to want it. And that mindset is expensive. It costs us time, it costs energy, and it quietly keeps you from stepping into the version of yourself who already knows she's allowed to choose differently. When you stop outsourcing your life to old rules, this is usually the quiet turning point. Not the moment you blow everything up, not the moment you make a dramatic change, just the moment you realize you've been making decisions based on rules you didn't actually choose. Rules about what success should look like, rules about timing, rules about what's responsible, acceptable, or realistic. And without realizing it, you've been outsourcing your life to them, letting old expectations decide what you tolerate, letting other people's timelines dictate your pace, letting a version of success you've already outgrown keep you stuck. The shift happens when you stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What do I actually want to build next? And who do I want to be while I build it?" This is the moment most women don't need more information. They need support while they make different decisions. This is when women reach out to work with me one-on-one, not because they're lost, but because they can feel the misalignment. And they don't want to keep circling it alone. They want a space to think clearly, to stop second guessing themselves, to make aligned decisions with someone who can see the patterns they can't see from the inside. If that's you, the way to work with me is simple. Click the link below to book a complimentary call. That's where we look at where you are, where you're ready to go next, and whether working together makes sense. And whether or not you choose to do that, I want you to hear this. You don't need years to change your life. You need clarity, alignment, and the willingness to decide differently. If this resonated, the next question isn't if things can change, it's how quickly they can. That's exactly what we're talking about in this video, how to change your life in less than 90 days. Because once you stop outsourcing your life to old rules and start making intentional decisions, momentum builds a lot faster than you've been taught to expect. Go watch that next.